Understanding manipulation. Manipulation is a covert psychological strategy where an individual influences another's thoughts, feelings, or actions to achieve a desired outcome, often disregarding the target's needs or well-being. Manipulators exploit universal human vulnerabilities, such as the desire for approval, fear of conflict, or need for validation, using questions that seem innocuous but are designed to shift power dynamics in their favor. These questions often trigger emotional responses that cloud judgment, making it harder to recognize the manipulation in the moment. The secret to outsmarting manipulators lies in maintaining emotional clarity, recognizing their tactics, and responding in ways that protect your autonomy. This involves self-awareness, understanding your emotional triggers and values to avoid being swayed. Boundary setting, clearly defining and enforcing your limits. Assertive communication, responding calmly and factually to avoid being drawn into their emotional traps. Critical thinking, questioning their intent and reframing their questions to focus on the real issue. Below, I'll detail 5 common questions manipulators use, their underlying intent, how they trap you psychologically, real-world examples, and specific strategies to counter them. Each section will also highlight how the secret applies in practice. Why are you making this such a big deal? Manipulator's intent. This question is a classic gaslighting tactic designed to minimize your concerns, invalidate your emotions, and shift blame onto you. By framing your reaction as disproportionate, the manipulator deflects attention from their behavior and makes you question the legitimacy of your feelings. How it traps you. Psychological mechanism. This question exploits your desire to be seen as reasonable and avoid conflict. It triggers self-doubt, making you wonder if you're overreacting or being overly sensitive. Over time, this can erode your confidence in your own judgment, making you more susceptible to the manipulator's influence. Emotional impact. You may feel embarrassed or guilty for raising the issue, leading you to back down or apologize even when your concern is valid. This allows the manipulator to continue their behavior unchecked. Real-world example. Suppose you confront a colleague about consistently interrupting you in meetings. They respond, "Why are you making this such a big deal? It's just how meetings go." This dismisses your valid concern about being heard and reframes their behavior as normal, implying you're overly sensitive. Detailed counter strategies. Recognize the gaslighting. Understand that this question is not about resolving the issue but about making you doubt yourself. Gaslighting relies on distorting your perception of reality, so mentally label the tactic to stay grounded. Refocus on the issue. Respond calmly with a statement that keeps the conversation on track. For example, "I'm raising this because being interrupted makes it hard for me to contribute. Can we address how to ensure everyone gets a chance to speak?" Validate your own feelings. Internally affirm that your emotions are legitimate. If the issue matters to you, it's worth addressing, regardless of their minimization. Set boundaries. Clearly state what you expect moving forward, such as, "I'd appreciate it if you let me finish my thoughts in meetings." Be firm but polite to maintain professionalism. Document patterns. If this tactic is used repeatedly, keep a record of instances to recognize a pattern of manipulation and prepare for future interactions. Applying the secret. The secret here is emotional grounding. By trusting your perception of the situation and responding with calm assertiveness, you prevent the manipulator from derailing the conversation. This preserves your confidence and keeps the focus on their behavior. Don't you trust me? Manipulator's intent. This question exploits your desire to maintain trust and harmony in relationships. It shifts the focus from the manipulator's questionable behavior to your character, framing your skepticism as a betrayal or lack of loyalty. How it traps you. Psychological mechanism. Trust is a cornerstone of relationships, and questioning it can make you feel guilty or disloyal. The manipulator uses this to pressure you into complying with their request, even if it feels risky or uncomfortable, to prove your trust. Emotional impact. You may feel obligated to agree to their demands to avoid seeming distrustful, even if your hesitation is based on legitimate concerns. This can lead to decisions that compromise your interests or safety. Real-world example. A friend asks to borrow a large sum of money but is vague about why they need it. When you ask for details, they say, "Don't you trust me? I thought we were friends." This guilts you into lending the money to prove your loyalty, even if you're uneasy. Detailed counter strategies. Reframe the issue. Shift the conversation back to the behavior, not trust. For example, "This isn't about trust, it's about understanding the situation. Can you share more about why you need the money?" Protect your boundaries. You're not obligated to comply to prove trust. Say, "I value our friendship, but I need more information before I can decide." Trust your instincts. If their request feels off, it's okay to say no without over-explaining. A simple, "I'm not comfortable with this right now," is sufficient. Evaluate their behavior. Genuine trust is built on transparency and mutual respect. If they're secretive or defensive, their question may be a red flag. Observe long-term patterns. If they repeatedly use trust as leverage, it suggests manipulation rather than a healthy relationship. Consider limiting your exposure to them. Applying the secret. The secret is prioritizing your judgment over emotional appeals. Trust is a two-way street, and manipulators often demand it without earning it. By focusing on the facts and your comfort level, you maintain control. Why can't you just do this one thing for me? Manipulator's intent. This question plays on your sense of obligation, kindness, or desire to avoid conflict. By framing their request as small or reasonable, the manipulator makes it hard to refuse without feeling selfish or uncaring. How it traps you. Psychological mechanism. The question leverages social norms around reciprocity and helpfulness. It implies that refusing a small request is unreasonable, pressuring you to comply to maintain your image as a good person. Emotional impact. You may feel guilty for saying no, even if the request infringes on your time, energy, or priorities. Over time, repeated small requests can erode your boundaries, leaving you overextended. Real-world example. A family member frequently asks you to run errands, saying, "Why can't you just do this one thing for me? I'm swamped." If you refuse, they act hurt, making you feel selfish for prioritizing your own schedule. Detailed counter strategies. Assess the request objectively. Ask yourself if the request is truly minor or part of a pattern of exploitation. Consider your own needs and capacity before agreeing. Set clear limits. Respond with, "I'm happy to help when I can, but I have my own commitments to manage right now." Offer alternatives. If appropriate, suggest a compromise, such as, "I can't do this today, but I could help tomorrow. Or maybe we can find another solution." Avoid over-explaining. You don't need to justify prioritizing your needs. A polite but firm "I can't right now" is enough. Recognize cumulative impact. Track how often they make such requests. If it's frequent, address the pattern directly. "I've noticed you often ask for favors when I'm busy. Let's discuss how we can balance this." Applying the secret. The secret is valuing your own time and energy. Manipulators exploit your willingness to overextend yourself, so setting and enforcing boundaries is crucial to maintaining your autonomy. Are you sure you can handle this on your own? Manipulator's intent. This question undermines your confidence and competence, creating doubt about your ability to make decisions or act independently. It positions the manipulator as a necessary or superior figure in your life. How it traps you. Psychological mechanism. By questioning your capabilities, the manipulator fosters dependency, making you feel you need their guidance or approval. This can erode your self-esteem and make you reliant on their input. Emotional impact. You may second-guess your abilities, hesitating to act without their validation. This gives the manipulator control over your decisions and actions. Real-world example. A controlling partner might say, "Are you sure you can handle this job interview on your own? I could prep you." This implies you're not capable without their help, encouraging you to seek their input and reinforcing their control. Detailed counter-strategies. Affirm your competence. Respond confidently, such as, "I appreciate your offer, but I'm prepared to handle this on my own." Seek objective feedback. If you need support, consult a neutral third party, e.g., a mentor or friend, rather than relying on the manipulator, who may have ulterior motives. Build self-confidence. Reflect on past successes to reinforce your belief in your abilities. Keep a mental or written list of achievements to counter self-doubt. Recognize the intent. Understand that their question is about control, not concern. If they consistently undermine you, it's a sign of manipulation. Limit dependency. Take steps to act independently, such as researching decisions or practicing skills, to reduce reliance on the manipulator. Applying the secret. The secret is self-assurance. Manipulators prey on insecurity, so cultivating confidence in your abilities neutralizes their tactic and empowers you to act independently. What would you do without me? Manipulator's intent. This question reinforces dependency by suggesting you're better off with the manipulator than on your own. It's often used in relationships to prevent you from leaving or asserting independence. How it traps you. Psychological mechanism. The question implies you're incapable of thriving without the manipulator, fostering gratitude or fear of losing them, even if their behavior is harmful. It exploits your need for security or connection. Emotional impact. You may feel trapped in the relationship, hesitant to challenge their behavior or leave, for fear of being lost without them. Real-world example. In a toxic relationship, a partner might say, "What would you do without me? I'm always here to fix your messes." This suggests you're helpless without them, discouraging you from pursuing independence. Detailed counter-strategies. Challenge the narrative. Respond with, "I value our relationship, but I'm capable of managing on my own when needed." Focus on your strengths. Remind yourself of your skills, achievements, and support network to counter their narrative of dependency. Evaluate the relationship. Ask yourself if the relationship is balanced and respectful. If they frequently use this question to control you, it may be unhealthy. Build independence. Take practical steps to strengthen your self-reliance, such as learning new skills, managing finances, or expanding your social circle. Seek external perspective. Talk to trusted friends or a therapist to gain clarity on the relationship's dynamics and your options. Applying the secret. The secret is recognizing your own worth and independence. By affirming your ability to thrive without the manipulator, you break their hold and reclaim your autonomy. The overarching secret to outsmarting manipulators. The secret to outsmarting manipulators is a multifaceted approach that combines self-awareness, emotional resilience, boundary setting, and strategic communication. Here's a detailed breakdown of how to apply it. Self-awareness. Understand your emotional triggers, e.g., guilt, fear of conflict, need for approval, and how manipulators exploit them. Regular self-reflection, journaling, or therapy can help you identify these vulnerabilities. Emotional resilience. Stay calm under pressure to avoid reacting impulsively to manipulative tactics. Practice techniques like deep breathing or pausing before responding to maintain emotional control. Boundary setting. Clearly define what behaviors you will and won't tolerate. Communicate these boundaries assertively and enforce them consistently, even if the manipulator pushes back. Strategic communication. Use calm, factual responses to avoid getting drawn into emotional arguments. For example, redirect questions to focus on the issue rather than your reaction. Critical thinking. Question the manipulator's intent and the logic behind their words. Ask yourself, what are they trying to achieve? To stay one step ahead. Support systems. Surround yourself with people who respect your autonomy and can provide objective feedback. This reduces the manipulator's influence and strengthens your confidence. Practical application in everyday life to illustrate how these strategies work in practice. Consider a scenario where a manipulative boss uses multiple questions to control you. Situation. You request time off, and your boss responds, "Why are you making such a big deal about this? Don't you trust me to manage the team? Why can't you just stay one more day?" Response strategy. Acknowledge the gaslighting. I'm not making a big deal. I'm just requesting time off, which is part of my benefits. Reframe trust. This isn't about trust. It's about my need for personal time. Can we discuss how to cover my responsibilities? Set boundaries. I'm happy to help plan for my absence, but I need this time off as requested. Stay calm and factual to avoid being drawn into an emotional debate. Outcome. By staying grounded and assertive, you maintain control over the conversation and protect your rights without escalating conflict. Why this matters. Manipulative questions are effective because they exploit universal human needs: validation, trust, connection, and security. Left unchecked, they can erode your confidence, autonomy, and well-being. By recognizing these tactics and applying the secret of self-awareness, boundary setting, and strategic communication, you can protect yourself from manipulation and maintain healthy relationships.